Namaste.
Second, I need to mute all. Sri Gurubhyo Namaha Harihi Om. 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 Asato ma Satgamaya Tamaso ma Jyotirgamaya Mrityorma Mritam Gamaya. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Om Sahana Bhavatu Sahanau Bhunaktu Sahaviryam Karavavahai Tejasvinavadhitamastu ma Vidvishavahai. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Om Sarva Vedanta Siddhanta Gocharam Tamagocharam Govindam Paramanandam Sadgurum Pranatosmyaham. Namaste everyone. Welcome back to the study of the Bhagavad Gita. Sorry, the Vivekacūḍāmaṇi. So much immersed in the Bhagavad Gita study that forget that we are doing this one. So we are studying the beginning of this scripture, Vivekacūḍāmaṇi, wherein Shankaracharya eulogizes the importance of having mumukshutva, that is, the real seeking, aspiration to become free. It is like a caged lion. So it's called Vedanta Kesari. That means one is like a lion and one wants to come out of one's cage and become free. So this scripture is goading us, almost begging us, so to say, please make an effort to achieve to the highest goal of life, that is realization of the self, Atmajnana, and do not rest satisfied with the mere joys, pleasures, and dualities of life. All duality has to be overcome in order to reach to that supreme goal. So that is where we were. Vadantu Shastrani Yajantu Devan, in the sixth verse that we studied last, Shankaracharya said, let people quote from the scriptures and offer sacrifice to the gods, let them perform rituals and worship to the deities, but there is no liberation for a person without the realizations of one's identity with the Atman. No, not even the lifetime of 100 Brahmas put together. That is to say that even the post of a Brahma is considered very low when compared to the Brahmajnani's level status. In the seventh verse, he continues it, which we referred to last time. Amritatvasya nasha asti. There is no hope of immortality by means of riches. Such indeed is the declaration of the Vedas. Hence, it is clear that works cannot be the cause of liberation. Here, there is a marked difference between the philosophy of Shankaracharya and the philosophy that Swami Vivekananda propounded, like taking clue from Sri Ramakrishna's own words and his sadhanas. Shankaracharya very clearly mentions that work cannot lead one to liberation. But again, if we read the Bhagavad Gita Bhashya of Shankaracharya, there he clarifies this point and he says that yes, indeed, work, which means practicing duality in life, that means you and me and the service that I am doing, or the person whom I am serving, all of this, there is this duality. This duality cannot take us to the highest. But if I can identify myself with the divine, or in other words, if I can offer all the actions that I do and think that the divine alone is doing all these actions, then there is liberation. There is possible even through work also. Nishkama karma, that is the work without any interest, that is disinterested work, that is to say selfless actions without any consideration of one's own self. The little I there must become merged with the supreme I. The little being, human being that we are, must merge with the supreme being called the divine. God alone is, and he is with me, and he will be with me. That is the idea that has to be deep rooted in our psyche. Our mind must become so full of this thought that God alone is. So let us go to the next verse today. Ato vimuktयै prayateta vidvan sanyastabhahyartha sukasprihassan santam mahantam samupetya deshikam tenopadishthartha samahitatma. Therefore, the man of learning should strive for his liberation, strive his best for liberation, having renounced his desire for pleasures from external objects. Main point to note is that Shankaracharya is laying a lot of stress on the desire aspect, because desire, kama, always goads you into karma, and then karma again will goad you into proper and improper actions. The karma, that is desire to do work. As you start doing the work, we will always try to adopt right and wrong means, both of them. We do, because the nature of work is such that we sometimes cannot avoid doing that. Therefore, Sri Shankaracharya says here, Sanyasta Bahyartha Sukha Spruha. Let there not be that spruha. That means spruha here means that desire. Kabir Das says in one of his doha, chaha. Chaha means this inordinate desire. I want. Needs are different, wants are different. Needs are something which are very basic, which one needs to fulfill, but wants are something with which we can do away with, or which we really do not need it. So here he says, Sanyasta, this spruha, chaha, chamari, he says, is like the shoemaker. He takes the skin and then he keeps on kneading the skin and making it very fine, and cuts it and tears at it, and so on and so forth. So it is like that. Wants are like that. They keep on tearing us. It keeps on rubbing at us at all times. That's why we should try to desist from this inordinate desire for pleasure. duly approaching a good and general. So what should I do? The next question that we ask is, well, we all have needs. We always also have wants. If this is what Shankaracharya is saying, what should we do? So to that, he says, approach a good and generous preceptor, Santam Mahantam Samupetya Deshikam. This is a very important point to note in all religions. One should approach a preceptor. That means one who has lived that life, one who has understood the essence of the scriptures and has also had realization of the meaning of the scriptures in his or her own life. Such a person is a Santa. Such a person is a saint. And he is Mahanta. His heart is very expansive. His heart is very broad. There is no narrowness in such a person. He will accept things as they are and will guide you. He will not look at your faults. When Swami Vivekananda was the guest at the palace of the Raja of Khetri, Raja Ajit Singh of Khetri in Rajasthan, it was a wonderful incident. The Raja had organized a music and dance evening in honor of Swami Vivekananda. The Raja had become very close to the Swami, he had become his disciple, and he wanted that the Swami should be entertained. So he had organized this evening program. And Swami Vivekananda, being a young monk with a lot of idealism in his heart, he wanted, he then refused to go, or he refused to enter the Darbar hall where the song was being sung and the dance was being danced. Noticing this, the the lady who was singing and dancing together, Baiji, they call them Baijis, she started this song, Prabhu Mere Avaguna Chittanadharam. O Lord, please do not consider my faults at all, my shortcoming. Samadarshi hai naam tiharu. Thy name is that you are Samadarshi, you are equanimous. Chahe to par karo. If you want, if you really want, you will be able to save any person for that matter. You have in Ramayana we see that Sri Rama saved even a stone, Ahalya. So says chahe to par karo. So Samadarshi hai. A saint is one who is Samadarshi, who does not look into the faults of the others. That is why he says Santam Mahantam. Such a person is a broad-minded person. So Tena Upadishthartha Samahitatma. Tena Upadishthartha. Approaching a good, whatever he is inculcating, the truth that he is inculcating, that will be, that should be um, followed. That is what he says. Approaching a good and generous preceptor and fixing his mind on the truth inculcated by him. We shall go to the next verse, which is a very important verse. Uddharet atmanatmanam magnam samsara varidhau yogarudhattvamasadya samyak darshana nishtaya. Uddharet atmana atmanam. This is a very famous verse. It comes in the Bhagavad Gita as well. There it's slightly different, but we will follow this text here. Samsara varidhau magnam atmanam uddharet. How atmanam? Having attained the yoga rudha state, one should recover oneself, immersed in the sea of birth and death by means of devotion to right discrimination. Magnam samsara varida. We are all immersed in this worldliness. This world has almost sunk us within itself, as it were. So we need to come out. We are always panting for breath, as it were. We are always, every being, from an ant to the highest, to the highest human being, everyone is very much intent on coming out of this mire of samsara, whether we know it or not, but that is the truth. Everybody wants freedom. Therefore, he says, Magnam samsara varidho. You are all immersed in this ocean of samsara, the one that will take you from birth to birth and death to death. So, uddharet, how to do that? Samyak darshana nishtaya. Samyak darshana nishtaya yoga rudhatvam asadhya. Samyak darshana. That means you need to have devotion to right discrimination. Darshana means a vision. That's one of the meaning of darshana is vision. Samyak darshana means right discrimination. That is the translation that the translator has given up or given here. So one must devote to right discrimination. This text that we are studying, that is Vivekacūḍāmaṇi, deals with this particular subject of discrimination, Viveka. Viveka and Vairagya. These are the two weapons that is a sadhaka, is a spiritual aspirant has to use. And so here he says, you need to use this tool of right discrimination. And how do I do it? Yoga rudham asadhya. One must attain to the state of yoga rudha. And the translator has given this note here from the Bhagavad Gita. What is yoga rudha state? When one is attached neither to sense objects nor to actions and has given up all desires, and then he is said to be yoga rudha, or to have ascended the yoga paths. Yoga rudha, that means we raise ourselves from the depths of the ocean of worldliness. The first thing is this desire to become free, that I have sunk. We should recognize that we are in the lower side of our being. So we need to raise ourselves. So how to do it? We need to do it by having faith in our inner being, the Atman. There is within me the spark of divine, if we can call it, or there is within me the part of Brahman that is called the Atman. Having known this, having understood this, then whenever we think we are sinking, or whenever we think we are going into a state of hopelessness, we must raise ourselves. See, medicines can give us a little bit of help. There is no doubt about that. And counseling, etc., also can give you some help. But if a person is not inclined to help himself or help oneself, then you cannot come out of this. One must make that sincere effort to raise oneself by oneself. So that is the key word here. Atmana Atmanam Uddharet. That means raise yourself, recover yourself from the lower state by having faith in the self, by one's own self. Otherwise, Atma eva hi Atmano bandhu, Atma eva repuratmanha, says the Bhagavad Gita. In this context, we are our best friends, we are our worst enemies also. When I think low of myself, when I think I am useless, when I think I am good for nothing, then what I am doing is I am lowering the glory of my self, the Atman. That is to say, the divine is within me. How can I be low? How can I be useless? No. This being has come to this world for some purpose. Everybody has got a purpose in life. So we need to realize that there is this purpose in life for me, and that I need to rely upon my divine self, the self that is of the nature of the divine within my own being. That is the key word here in this Uddharet Atmana Atmanam. Let us go to the next verse. Sanyasya sarva karmani bhava bandha vimuktaye yatyatam panditair dhirair atmabhyasa upasthitaihi. Sarva karmani sanyasya bhava bandha vimuktaye. Let the wise and erudite man, having commenced the practice of the realization of the Atman, give up all works and tried to cut loose the bonds of birth and death. Work here means work with motive, including the good ones prescribed in the scripture. The scriptures ask us to perform certain actions for the achievement of certain goals of life, for good health or good, for some luck, for wealth and all of that. So what Shankaracharya says is, if you want to reach the highest state, then all of these things that you want or that you desire for, all of this must take the back seat. So when we are doing Havan, for example, when we do the fire sacrifice, we make a lot of offerings to the different deities to propitiate them. In the end, we say that all of this is Sri Krishnarpanamastu. Here we say Ramakrishnarpanamastu. Whatever we have done, whatever good that is going to accrue from the performance of these actions is ultimately offered to the divine and divine alone. That is to say, let the divine handle my life. I lay myself at the feet of the divine. That is the highest form of worship. So he says, Yatyatam Panditaihi Dhiraihi Atmabhyasa Upasthitaihi. And then you ask the question, why should we do any work at all? Sri Shankaracharya clarifies that. Chittasya shuddhaye karma natu vastu palabdhaye vastu siddhir vicharena na kinchit karma kotibhihi. Karma chittasya shuddhaye. Work leads to purification of the mind. Na vastu upalabdhaye. To na vastu upalabdhaye. Not to the perception of the reality. Vastu here means object in common parlance, but here reality is known as the Vastu. Sri Ramakrishna says, Ishwari Vastu Ashab Avastu. The only object to be desired is the divine. Everything is not to be desired. That is that is the word. That's what the word vastu means here. Not the objects of the senses, but the object of pure determination, the object of divine intoxication or divine absorption. That is the vastu here. Vastu siddhir vicharena na kinchit karma kotibhi. When by millions of 10 millions of acts, the realization of truth is not brought about except by the discrimination. Vastu siddhir vicharena. That's what I earlier said. Ishwar e vastu in Bengali, he says, Ishwar, God alone. E means in Bengali, E means alone. God alone is the vastu. That means the one goal to be desired, one goal to be achieved. Our shop, ours too. That means everything else is ours too. So here, the vichara, one's discrimination should be that I will, I am going towards the path of realization. I want that realization. I am not going to stop short of that realization. So, in order to achieve to that, I need to get rid. Sri Ramakrishna again says, if you want to progress towards east, you must be prepared to give up the west. That is to say, it's a symbolical language. It says, if you want to go towards the east, you cannot think that I will go to the west and I will reach by that I will reach the east. It cannot happen. If you have to go towards Gold Coast from Brisbane, yes, I need to go southwards. If I go northwards, I will reach Sunshine Coast only. So that should not be done. So here he says, Vastu upalabdhaye, what should I do? Vichara. I need to make the discrimination. That is, vichara here means that I must ascertain that the goal that I have accepted is the one that is best for me, and that I will not swerve from the goal. That is the idea that has been given here. But one more point that Sri Shankaracharya makes here is that all actions are meant only for chitta shuddhi, means the purification of the mind. Chitta is more than the mind, but let us keep it there. So chitta, all our actions is for the purification of the mind. But Vedanta goes a little bit further and says, when there is a pure mind, then you will see the reflection of the divine over there. There is purity, you will be able to see the reflection of the divine over there. That is to say, God is very near at hand to you. Samyak, we will go to the 12th verse. Samyak vicharata siddha rajjutattvavadharana भ्रान्तोदित महासर्प Vinashini. By adequate reasoning, the conviction of the reality about the good rope is gained, which puts an end to the great fear and misery caused by the snake worked up in the deluded mind. Samyak vichara. Again and again, we will hear this word while studying the Vedanta scriptures. Vichara, vichara, vichara. That means always analyze, vichara. What is this analysis about? Analysis is about what is absolutely real and what is apparently real. What is absolutely necessary and what is not necessary for us. This is called as vichara. What is absolutely good for me, not just good for a few moments, but what is absolutely good for all times to come for me, and what is not at all good for me. The sweets are very good for me right now, but afterwards I will suffer. Therefore, I need to make sure whether I want to taste or I want to indulge in eating all the sweets now, or I will desist from it and I will remain healthy. This is just an example I gave. This is called as vichara. Vichara, if the vichara, that means if this faculty of discrimination becomes very strong within us, nothing in the world can shake us. Nothing in the world can pull us down. These are the words of the scriptures. Samyak vicharataha siddha. You become convinced about it. Siddha. Rajju tattva avadharana. He brings in this Vedantic concept of the rope and the snake. When I see in the darkness, while I am walking in the darkness, I step up on a rope and I suddenly get startled and think that I have stepped on a snake. So the fear within me overtakes the vichara. That means this sense of propriety or sense of discrimination in me. And immediately what I do, I get scared. I shout out, scream. Then somebody in the neighborhood comes running, brings in a torch and shines over there, and says, "Oh, it is only a rope. Why are you so scared?" And then I laugh at myself and say, "What a fool I have been, getting scared of this rope." But at that moment, when I stepped on the rope, all of that sense of discrimination had gone into the thin air. I just did not even pause to think and examine whether it is a snake or a rope. So this is where discrimination kicks in. So Rajju Tattva Avadharana. I'm seeing the world. I'm seeing something very attractive. And I think that I can get a lot of enjoyment from that piece of object that is attracting me without realizing that there is great poison hidden in that object. So that's why he's saying here, Rajju Tattva Avadharana. Before screaming out, before getting scared, think, pause a little bit, think, and then find out for yourself what is the truth. If you really see a snake over there, yes, you may call for some help. You may cry out and call for some help. That is perfectly all right. But before that, don't get so scared and raise your BP and other factors in your life. That is the advice of the scripture here. Rajju tattva vada. Branta udita mahasarpa bhayadukha vinashini. So once the reasoning kicks in, what happens? Branta udita mahasarpa. The fear and misery caused by the snake working up in my deluded mind will vanish forever. Arthasya nischayo drishto vicharena hitoktitah na snanena danena pranayama shatena va. The conviction of the truth is seen to proceed from reasoning upon the salutary counsel of the wise men of realization, and not by bathing in the sacred waters, nor by gifts, nor by 100 pranayamas, control of the vital force. So the conviction of the truth is seen to proceed from reasoning upon the counsel of the wise people. So the wise people have said that do not go there to those waters over there. It is very dangerous. You will get drowned over there. Yet, with great chivalry, I want to show off to people that I am very brave. I go there, and as soon as I step in, it becomes slippery, and then there is a whirlpool, and it takes me down into the deep depths of the waters. So I had to pay heed to the wise counsel These wise people have already experienced in their own life. See, there are two types of people. One are those who want to go through the whole length and fall and injure themselves and then realize. But there are the other type who take heed of the counsel of those who who have experienced or who have understood, who will be warning us against those dangers. So Shankaracharya says, why make your life so miserable that you should go through all these experiences of pleasure and pain, of disappointment, depression, and so on and so forth? Why not take the heed of the rishis, the path of the rishis, and says, Shrinvantu Vishwe, Amritasya Putra, you are the heirs of immortal bliss. You are the children of immortal bliss. Says, you are the children of immortal bliss. So there is that immortality within me, or there is that fountain of immortality, of joy within myself. Instead of seeking for that within myself, why am I wandering here and there, knocking at all doors and being knocked over and getting hurt, then becoming a total wreck? Why should I be that? Let me take heed. That is why wise counsel, he uses the term over here, the wise counsel of the people, of the sages. They have always been warning us, or they always warn us even now. Say, do not go into these waters. It is dangerous. So let us pay heed to the words of the scriptures, to the teachings of the sages and saints who have been there for us, who have been talking to us through the scriptures. We will do one more verse and then stop. अधिकारिणमाशास्ते फलसिद्धिर्विशेषतः उपायादेशकालाद्या सन्ति अस्मिन् सहकारिणः सम्यक् विचारतः sorry अधिकारिणम् आशास्ते फलसिद्धिर्विशेषतः. Success depends essentially on a qualified aspirant. Adhikari, Sri Shankaracharya brings in this Anubandha Chatushtaya. It is called as Anubandha Chatushtaya. There are four things that one should know before studying a scripture. That is, am I an adhikari for this? That is, am I having the qualification enough to study this? Have I completed the lower graduation or lower types of education? And have I come to that stage wherein I can go ahead with this scripture? That is adhikari. Then there is Vishaya. Vishaya is the subject matter. Is the subject matter that I am studying relevant to me? That is the next question that we have to ask. Vishaya. Sambandha. What is the relationship between myself as I am and the subject that I am going to study? What is the utilitarian value, I can ask? What is the utilitarian value of what I am studying? Prayojana. Prayojana is the utilitarian value or the efficacy of what I am studying. So when we are studying any scriptures, these four things come up. Are you a qualified person to study this? Or is the author just spilling beans and you're not getting anything out of it? That is the question that has to be asked. So, Vivekacūḍāmaṇi wants us to ask this question of ourselves. Are we really serious about knowing ourselves? Do we really have an aspiration to go forward and understand the scripture? So, in the beginning itself, this question is asked. Adhikarinam ashaste. Success depends essentially on a qualified aspirant. The aspirant must become qualified enough. There must be that inner urge, that inner aspiration that yes, I want this. I want to go through this. This is something which is asking. Success depends essentially on a qualified aspirants. Time, place, and other such means are but auxiliaries in this regard. Other things are all incidental. It might be useful, but if there is that inner urge for us to go through this spiritual practice, then we don't have to bother about where we are or in what situation we are placed. It doesn't matter at all. That is what he is saying. These qualifications will be enumerated in the stanzas 16 and 17. So in the next verse, he says, Ato vichara kartavyo jignasoratmavastunaha samasatyadaya sindhum gurum brahmaviduttamam. Shankaracharya assumes that since you have taken up this book in your hand and you are keen in studying it, he assumes that we are all seekers after liberation. Having ascertained that, he says, Ato vicharaha kartavyaha. So what we need to do is, one should take to reasoning between the essentials and non-essentials, between truth and untruth. Then after approaching the Guru, who should be the best of the knowers of Brahman, and then ocean of mercy, and I should go forward. That is to say, I should go forward. Shrotriyo avrajino akamahato yo brahmavittamaha brahmani uparata santo nirindhana ivanalaha. The qualifications of a guru, he said, Swami Vivekananda quotes it in his lectures on Bhakti Yoga. How should be a teacher? Shrotriya, a person who is well versed in the scriptures, must know the ins and outs of the scripture very well. Such a person is fit to be a real teacher. A Brajina, one who is sinless. That is to say, one who has purity in character. Simplicity and purity is the sign of a realized soul. Akamahataha, the third qualification is akamahataha. That means one who is not desirous. He is not after your dollars. He is not after your money. Sri Ramakrishna used to have all these youngsters who came from very middle class families or even poor families. And they used to come. And one day, one of his disciples has said, why are you giving them so much of importance? They don't even spare a penny for you. They don't spend rather you are supplying them with food and sometimes carriage hire and all that, their travel expenses and all that. So why are you so much attached to them? Sri Ramakrishna says, I love them because they are sincere seekers. They are pure at heart. So he does not expect anything from them. I do not expect anything from them at all. Akamahata. A real teacher is one who does not expect anything from the disciple, except that the disciple must go forward, must travel towards the truth. Yo Brahmavittama. The fourth one is Brahmavittama, one who is a knower of Brahman. So he says, Ato Medha, Ato Vichara Kartavyo, Jignaso Atmavastunaha, Samasadya Daya Sindhum. Such a guru is Daya Sindhu. He is an ocean of mercy. So Samadarshi hai namati haro chahe to par karo. Quoted this from the Baiji's song. Said, your name is that you are Samadarshi, an equanimous person. If you want, you can save anybody. The vilest of sinner can be saved. The Ratnakara, who was a robber, could be saved by sage Narada and made the sage Almiki. So, like that, there are innumerable incidents in the lives of great saints who have been lifted, as it were, from the mire of samsara and brought up and made as great gems of realization. So, Samasadya Daya Sindhum, that is possible when a Sat Guru takes over your responsibility. Gurum Brahmavit Uttamam, he is the best of the knowers among Brahman. We will stop here for today and we will take up the next verse 2 weeks after. Om Shanti 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 Hari Om Tat Ram Krishnarpanam.
Thank you, Swamiji.
Thank you.
Namaste, Swamiji. Thank you.
Thank you, Swamiji.
Thank you, Swamiji.
Thank you, everybody. Thank you.